Well, the Prime Minister, Jacinda Ardern, said she wants to put a stop to refugees trying to flee to New Zealand via boat, saying that they, quote, must be stopped. Well, this comes after Australia's Courier Mail newspaper in Brisbane reported that crime syndicates have attempted to send boats carrying 164 asylum seekers to this country, taking advantage of what they are calling the new left-leaning government. Well, Jacinda Ardern has so far refused to bypass Australia after her offer for New Zealand to take 150 refugees was declined again by Australian Prime Minister Malcolm Turnbull. The Manners situation has some similarities to the 2001 Tampa Affair, when 438 boat refugees were denied entry to Australia and their ship after their ship broke down. New Zealand took in 131 of these refugees eventually, and the rest were sent to a detention centre in Nauru. Zahra Sarwari was one of those 131. She was just 12 years old when her family fled Afghanistan to escape the Taliban. 16 years later, Zahra has married fellow Tampa refugee Ali, and the couple has a 2-year-old son. She works as a practice nurse. Ali is an engineer, and the couple owns a house in Auckland. Zahra told Zach Fleming that she hopes the Prime Minister Jacinda Ardern takes some of the Manners refugees. And a note, if you are watching this story, Zahra has asked for her face not to be shown. She begins by telling Zach about her boat trip from Indonesia.
We knew that they were accepting refugees, so it had a good reputation for, accepting refugees. So that was mainly why. When
you're 12, you kind of trust your parents intimately, right? I mean, right. As a 12-year-old, you go, okay, Dad says that we need to leave, so we need to leave, and you don't really question it. Is that kind of how it was?
Yes. Yeah. That's how it was. I mean, obviously there was the danger. I did understand, what was going on. We were living in a town where it was, it wasn't at that time of the war. We were quite safe, but you would hear things around you. But so our area was safe, but we did hear that such and such was going on around us, and so the fear was there that someday they would come to our town as well. So
Yeah, you just don't want to take that chance.
No.
So when you got on the boat from Indonesia to try and get to Australia, what was that journey like? Can you talk me through it?
In that boat?
Yeah.
On that boat, it was. I remember one night we got on the boat, and they allowed the families to go first, and saying that not the dads, so just the women and the children, they were allowed to go first. But at that time, the fear was that for me as a child is that I don't want to leave my dad behind. So I remember crying a lot that we should all go together. So to me, and at that time I was thinking maybe Dad's leaving us behind and he's sending us off. But I remember going into the boat and it was quite dark. You couldn't see anything, and I could.
What was that like as a 12-year-old? Like, what were your parents saying to you?
I think it was, now that I think about it, it was quite scary, but what got us through was my parents' attitude. They were, I remember the people were crying around us, and there were quite, a lot of seasickness and all that. But my mum never stopped smiling. She was always smiling, because how the boat was rocky, and when it was rocking, when it was going up, it was we were moved to the other side, and then the other way around.
Like a washing machine.
Yeah, that's right. So I remember my mum using one of her scarves to tie our arms to the boat, to the side of the boat, so we wouldn't get smashed, smashed around.
It's good ingenuity.
Yeah. So I do remember that. And
how long were you in that situation for, of the boat not working?
I think it was a couple of days. Yeah. So morning, day and night, and it would get so dark at night. It was just black. We were right next to the window. Well, no glass window, just frames, just a hole. and you look outside and you can see nothing. It was just pitch black, you know, and that was scary for me. I remember that I used to get scared.
You must feel quite alone in the middle of the ocean.
Yeah, yeah.
I don't want to like lump you into a category or anything, but you're kind of like a success story, right? For anyone who says that refugees are anything negative, right? I mean, like you've come to New Zealand and
I'd like to think so.
You're a New Zealander, right?
Yes. Yes.
Would you have any advice for the new Prime Minister, Jacinda Ardern, and how to approach situations like she has with Manus Island at the moment, for example, or any ones in the future?
Well, I think what the government did with accepting us was, I think that was a life-changing decision for us. You know, that it completely changed our life in terms of, you know, getting us the life that we're living now. So I'd you know, from our perspective, it'd be great if that opportunity came to others as well. So I think if Jacinda Ardern could accept more families, refugee families, that would be, you know, an advantage to New Zealand as well. You know,
yeah, that's what I was going to ask
young
you.
families, you know, they do well. I mean, when you bring young families to New Zealand, the kids especially, they do well. From our group, all the kids have done well, and they're contributing to the New Zealand society.
Do you have a reason why you think that might be? Why refugee children might
it's just
even do better?
knowing that, you know, they having lived a life that was full of struggle. You know, when you come to here, you think, you know, all you got to do is grab the opportunities that are provided to you. You know, and I guess for me it was also the I just had this motivation of going on and not giving up easily. So yeah, I think it's just a strive.
Sounds like I could have learned a lot more as a kid from you than you could have me, to be honest.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, it's just not. I remember there were times that were, you know, during studies it was so hard that sometimes I was thinking to myself, it would have been so much easier if I was born here and knew English from scratch, you know, from the beginning. But at the same time, I think that I might have been a different person if I was actually born here and lived from the beginning. Yeah.
What do you think your life would be like now if you hadn't have been accepted? If you had, you know, tried to leave Afghanistan on that boat and tried to get into Australia, but they had turned you away. Do you ever think about that?
Yeah, actually, I don't want to, like, it's not something I would like to think about, but yes, I think that if we were rejected and if we ended up in Nauru or even back to Afghanistan, I think life would have been so much different. I probably wouldn't have gotten any education. I would have probably married someone I didn't even know and lived as a housewife sort of thing. So yeah, I'm so grateful that I'm here.
Extraordinary story, isn't it? Zahra Sarwari talking to Zach Fleming there.